Hello, my name is Michael Berger, and I have an associate's degree in mechanical engineering and a bachelor's degree in digital science. I have a certificate in AutoCAD and cybersecurity. I work as a student IT assistant at the University of Akron, a math tutor at Stark State College, SMT operator at Airborne Electronics, and as a student team leader at Kent State University in the Federated Desktop Support Department.
And my name is Gregory Hess. I have a bachelor's degree in digital sciences from Kent State University. I have a Test-Out Security Pro certification, as well as numerous certifications through LinkedIn courses. I've held numerous IT positions in end-user support across Kent State, Beechwood Systems, and Northeast Ohio, and in my local area, in local town of Northeast Ohio, as I reside. And I'm en route to a rotational in Brooklyn, Ohio, this coming summer. As of February of 2023, I reside at a business analyst position in my current company in a bank in the Ohio area.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Health Awareness Podcast as part of M&G Productions. It is January 27th, 2024. Hope everyone's having a good year so far, as we get to talk more about that and with what we call resolutions, and how to keep them and how to maintain them, and what makes the best ones based on each person. I'm one of your co-hosts, Gregory, here with my friend Mike here. Mike, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing this week, Greg?
It's been pretty good. They increased my days in office from 1 to 2, and I'm going out with a good amount of people to keep the normalcy out of the way. So, but it's just a way to break normalcy for me. But going into our topic, though, like along with breaking normalcy for people, it might be for the better. As today's episode is about New Year's resolutions, as people usually just throw these out within like a week. It's like the old joke in the book, like, oh yeah, I'll definitely keep my resolution up, maybe. I don't know, because the common ones are usually, I'm gonna get in shape, or I'm gonna make loads of money, or I'm gonna get that house. But those are very broad and directionless, according to what we find for why these goals fail. And we're gonna go through just what some experts dictate as maintenance tools to help these goals stay maintained in your mind. So, do you have any resolutions so far this year, Mike?
Well, mostly I did the same thing that a lot of people do. Is they're like, oh, I'm gonna be healthy this year or exercise more. I was very broad with my resolutions, and in the past it hasn't been that hard to maintain them, mostly because they were so small. And I think that's kind of where I need to focus down and really look at the steps. Like what can I do to take this this goal and make it a reality?
That makes a lot of sense. With that sort of mirrors what I'm trying to get at with my goals. As I've joined a gym back in September, and see if I can maintain that throughout the rest of this year. Be it every other day has been the current goal, but sometimes that's not enough either. As we'll look at this very well mined article here for self-improvement, as we're all about improvement here on the Health Awareness Podcast. So one of the tips they dictate here is to have a detailed plan, or write out even a detailed plan with a resolutions journal, which granted, I haven't handwritten anything besides my signature in probably 8 years, but these goals seem to dictate when you like write it down and put it down on a piece of paper, there's like a finality to it. Like this is gonna happen. Like this is like when it's like in front of you, you know. It's better than just trying to remember in your head. Which I've heard from numerous people that saying like, oh, if it's right in front of me, it's better than someone trying to talk it through to me on the phone. You agree with that?
I would say so. I really would like to jump in this first article, or actually, it's a YouTube. Is it a YouTube? Did we start with the? I kind of want to start with the Dr. Mike video, if you don't mind,
Oh
because
yeah.
I think this is one of my favorites. I think he does a great job of kind of like going in depth about making a New Year's resolution and how to keep it, and he uses the word smart to kind of list out what you should focus on when making these goals. And he starts out by saying you gotta set the goals, right?
Yeah.
Then you gotta go and you gotta make them measurable. How can you measure this? Whether it's adding 100 steps to your day, or exercising 3 times a week, or whatever that is. Um, and then next he goes into make sure it's an attainable goal, because I know I know I've been a victim to this in the past, where I've been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be able to do all these marathons and do all this work for charity this year, and like I take a very ambitious approach, which is not a bad thing,
Oh no.
but we just got to make sure those goals are obtainable, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe just focus on a couple goals for the year, not a whole bunch, of maybe a couple small ones, and maybe just one big one, you know. So yeah, make sure those goals are attainable, and make sure they're reasonable. I think those kind of go in hand. And I think the last part of this acronym, the acronym is SMART. The last one is T, which is time based. You have to make sure that you can fit these goals in. Like when make a plan to when you can put these goals into practice. A lot of us make these goals and we're just like, oh, we'll just do it whenever we can, and then we don't plan this whenever we can moment. And one of the other articles that we were talking about today talks about if it's a bad habit you're trying to replace it with a good habit, so you're not just, so you can fill that void. Whether it's drinking more water, replacing caffeine or
Replacing
soda
beer
or
or caffeine
sugary
with
drinks
water.
with water or tea or something like that. You want to be able to fill that void with something healthy.
Right. And it just makes sense in that point of view because these just don't carry on with resolutions like this acronym SMART that you just mentioned. That carries on itself even in workspaces when they say, "Do you have SMART goals for me?" Like, if you just give SMART goals to those that you work with, even like your manager, they can pass along to their manager to say, "This Gregory is very structured with how he puts himself out to. Like, he has a plan set out for things, even as small as I want to move out by summer of 2025." Like, that's a benchmark right there. Where But that's not smart in itself. Like when I told him that the goal, so I had to go on and delve deeper into it, make it attainable and reasonable, such as I'm going to attain it by saving money every week, and make it reasonable by making sense and playing it out with a real estate agent, as well as making it a goal in itself and setting it, making it measurable, when they get it done, attainable, make sure it's realistic, making it reasonable, that aligns with having it being attainable and having it make sense and having a time allotted to it. SMART goals.
Awesome.
That's the story of it, how it'd be. But sometimes it could be as simple as just having one goal or resolution, as having a overload of resolutions might be too much for some people, which might delude them over time. Like if your one goal is, let's say, losing 20 pounds by this holiday season. Like, okay, that's good. It's measurable. It has a time set to it. But how are you going to do that? But and that's a good starting point though. But if you stack that up with just losing weight with, I'm gonna also start biking with my friends also, or I'm gonna go to more concerts as well this year. Just compounding itself might give that first goal trouble of being attained and having it being kind of half-assed, as some would say.
I'm glad I'm on the same page with you. Yeah, this you don't want to half-ass any of your goals. Make sure that you're got a nice plan all set up, good to go. So this next article is how to keep your New Year's resolutions, and it's just 10 smart tips. Um, this is from I forget. Do you remember
Very
what?
well mind.
Very Well Mind is the website. And just going through, I really liked the tips they provided here. Their first tip was to keep goals small, like little stepping stones to a big goal. So, um, and just having from what we talked about previously, having those be reasonable and attainable and measurable, like having these small little goals that are like little stepping stones to your big goal,
Yeah.
really helps, and it helps you feel good about these your accomplishments and achievements in life. You gotta get those. Once you complete that, you're gonna feel really good. It's gonna help you get to the next step in the process. And another way to think about setting goals is you want to think in the mindset, I want to, or would I rather. Just kind of helps you see your past and look at your future there. So for example, let's say your goal is to replace your Pepsi or your soda or however you say it with water or tea. You want to replace those bad habits with good ones.
Yeah.
The next topic for this article, which I thought was really good, and I think I already do this, but I don't even know I do. I just kind of like sharing, is talking to your friends, your family. Just talk to people about your goals, and it's always fun to kind of hear what other people's goals are and how they're achieving those, and it gives you ideas on how to keep you honest and keep them honest, and like you can kind of like if they're okay with it, you're gonna kind of keep each other on track because you're kind of like doing it for your friends, for your family now. They're gonna point it out to you. I know my family would if I'm not sticking with a diet or exercise as much as I say I should, and I definitely do the same for them if they tell me they have a goal in mind.
You gotta have that sort of buddy system that kind of helps the goal and sort of everyone involved to have a same motivation and accountability, as well as sticking to a resolution more casual and fun. You know, especially if you find a group that all want to, back to my old goal of just losing 10, 20 pounds by the holiday season. Especially like joining a group that all have the same goal of just losing weight. That could be great. Like meeting new people, all with the same motivation and goal in mind, be it for their partner, for their family, for their kids, for their work, if they travel a lot and they want their body to handle the travel more, you know? So you don't have to take up 2 seats. You want to take up 1 seat. That sort of thing. It's all about that sort of support for this goal as well, which the support can't just be within yourself, but it can be with everyone around, friends and family, as well as this also renewing your motivation. Because these sort of resolutions kind of remind yourself how you're going to do this, which goes back to the old tip I mentioned about writing it down and keeping a goal journal. Like every day, write how I did this goal today and how can I keep going with it? How is it still attainable? Is it retainable? And are there other ways that you can achieve it? That you can add on to make it more defined and more feasible and possible so that you can, again, lose those 20 pounds by the holiday season or save enough money so you can buy a new car or a new house or a starter house for you and your partner, which is something that those are just a few examples I have in mind. for that sort of world of things, as well as the ability to just learn and adapt to your goal. Because hey, life isn't always too easy. Well, it's definitely not easy, but sometimes you can run into a bad spell trying to lose weight. Like, oh, I went to a birthday party and there was alcohol there, so I had like one or something, and I ruined my weight system. But hey, it's all about the sort of support needed for what we can have here within our within something that's vested as a New Year's resolution that you have a whole 11 more months to keep track of here as we record this in late January. That's sort of like, again, having it right in front of you. You can even have like one of those dotted boards, like a cork board, to just sort out the timeline of how you can get this resolution achieved, be it saving money for something, again, or losing weight for something, or then some. And sometimes it just takes the small wins as well as tracking everything again, like on a cork board or marker board or what have you, just to make sure that everything can remain smart. Or again, as we put it, set, measurable, attainable, reasonable, and time-based in itself. As well as the matter of having all this information in mind, make sure the goal is specific again. In case I didn't say it earlier, or me and Mike didn't say it earlier, make it specific.
I think that kind of goes with the planning thing. Like it's very similar. So I think if you're planning something, you want to be specific about it and write it down and be like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. This is how I'm gonna do it. And I really liked what you were talking about with the small wins earlier. Just being able to celebrate those small wins. I think I touched on this a little bit earlier when I talked about the small goals. This really helps motivate you. Even just going out for a drink with a friend or a family member, just to say, "Hey, I lost 3 pounds this week," or whatever. I didn't drink an ounce of coffee this the past 3 days or whatever. And I had tea or whatever. So celebrating those small wins with just maybe a drink or maybe I don't know, however you like to celebrate a night out on the town or antique shopping, however you like to celebrate that is a good thing to do because it reinforces your goals.
Yeah, and to round this out, we have this second article to continue this conversation, which this is from realsimple.com from Elizabeth Yoko. And again, it's a lot of reiteration here, but I'm going to just make it thorough here and just follow some quotations from doctors here. As Dr. Julian Lagoli put it, regarding specific nature to goals. While this may sound like common sense, making a resolution that overall has a positive impact on your life and is attainable is a great thing. A lot of people can make resolutions that are so far-fetched and unattainable that it's unreasonable to think that they can be achieved in the next year, let alone longer than that. Alongside just the words. Word choice can make all the difference according to Dr. Marie Manley from Sonoma County, California. When you create resolutions, be sure to use verbiage that is specific, like I want to versus I could or I should. There's what sounds more deterministic there? I want to or I could. Like, I could do that, but a could doesn't have a confident, motivation to it, like, yes, I can.
Agreed. That is so important when you're in your own head. You gotta have that confident mindset. You gotta believe that you can do it, because believing is you're halfway there. I think I say that a lot. You're halfway there. Showing up, you're halfway there. Believing in yourself, you're halfway there. But yeah, sometimes we underestimate how important it is to have the right mindset.
Yeah, And very much so, especially when it comes to just having deliverables come from goals in your life, be it for work or your life or both, as well as making it part of a routine, as Dr. Metzger put it. As most people think setting a resolution or writing it down is enough to turn to reality, but it's more about what he calls this 3-step resolution plan. And that is just believing, predicting, and starting. So that everything can be aligned for your goals. Like, again, when it comes to just losing weight, how are you going to do that? Are you going to get a gym membership? You're going to get equipment right in your house so you don't have to go outside, and just got to make sure you maintain that push and drive to go on that exercise bike in your house, or keep going to that gym and making use of that membership, as well as predicting what could happen as well, which this might be the hardest part of these 3 steps, but sort of looking forward to see what obstacles you may face, like parties that might offset your weight loss goal, or open bar weddings while you're trying to stay clean of alcohol. Like, how are you going to navigate that? That's a huge part of resolutions, as well as just being able to just start the process. Like, release any doubt and jump all the way in. I think John Wayne put it as something like this, where he said, courage is jumping into something so scary that you just gotta go through it without the guess of this being bad.
What I would like to say about that is, sometimes we as humans shy away from things we're not comfortable with, which is very normal. But in order to, when I tell friends that I have a lot of friends and they are afraid to go out and ask partners out or people they like out, I tell them to practice getting out of their comfort zone. And this could be anything from going to a restaurant and ordering something on the menu they normally don't. Because I know a lot of people have the regular thing that they always like. So yeah, trying new things, go to a restaurant, order something new, something you never tried before. Go up to someone on the street and ask for the time or directions, or just talk to them. Like, it doesn't have to be someone of the opposite gender. It can literally just be someone you think they have a cool they have a cool watch or some cool shoes, or just be like, hey, go up to that person, introduce yourself, and say, hey, I really like your shoes, or I really like your watch, and this helps you get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, just finding some commonality involved in that part.
You gotta take those baby steps, because eventually you'll get to that point where you'll be more comfortable doing these things you don't normally do.
And that could be all part of a resolution as well.
Indeed.
It also helps for those that are a fan of applications to have a habit tracking app for these goals. If you're not into the whole journal writing biz, you can get apps like Habitify, Habitbull, and Strides, all to help keep an organized goal tracker for anyone's personal goal that we mentioned before, as well as giving you a sense of accomplishment and gain that good dopamine boost, not the bad ones. A good one to help, like that eureka moment, so to speak, where it's like, yes, we're getting somewhere. We got a timeline for this. As well as, again, maintaining just the small victories, like if you're losing weight and you're losing weight slowly over time, good, and talk about it, like we said, and as well as keeping it short and concise.
Right, definitely sharing with your friends about your victories. If they're good friends, they'll encourage you to keep doing that. They'll be proud of you. They'll give you words of affirmation. They'll give you words of encouragement.
And Last point I want to make about this other piece is that they mention here to avoid last year's failed resolution. Now, I know a lot of people's common resolutions are to lose weight or to just give save money for to buy that one thing, and it's like they feel like, oh, it didn't happen last year, how can I do it this year? But I think you can kind of recycle resolutions, but that's just me. Or
Yeah. So here's the thing. I think by getting more specific, sometimes we just set these vague resolutions. By getting more specific, I think it will help us veer off from this path of going to the same resolutions every year. I think it's good to have maybe just two or three. Like, keep a short list of your resolutions for the year. And if some of those are similar to the ones from last year, that's okay. But you do want to switch things up. Maybe you failed at switching off coffee, because I know a lot of people struggle with they overdose on coffee frequently, and it's a hard one to kick. So maybe start with something smaller, something like drinking more water, or um, maybe it doesn't have to be, oh, I want to quit coffee for the year. Maybe it's like, hey, I want to switch out one of the days I drink coffee for a day where I only drink tea. You know.
yeah,
So baby
it's
steps, baby steps.
it's about that. Having being able to sort of go through this management in your own way. Be it a struggling resolution or one that you're having a good track of, but you're seeing might get messed up along the way. Again, this wavers across any resolution, listeners. It could be cutting that Adderall habit that you built up in college. It could be just getting in shape so that you can do something better for your kids and your grandkids. If you're those older listening to us, it could be again just saving money for something important, like getting your partner something nice, or something that just help benefit yourself. No matter what it is, it's best to just follow these steps that we help directed to you.
Well, I think we have gone through a lot of great stuff today, Greg. Just to close out the show here, I want to get some insights on some of your goals for the year. Maybe a financial goal and a health goal. I know you said you're saving up for a house. Is there anything else you are saving up for?
I'm saving up usually for the bigger purchases I have in mind. Like my phone's been getting kind of bad. Like right now, as we record this, it is trying to charge next to me, but the port and the charger is so damaged that I have to keep shoving it in so that it reads the connection, as
Oof,
well as it being 4G, because
I hate when
5G
that
I think is
happens.
going to take over by the end of this year.
I just
So
ordered a new phone. I'll let you know. It's I think it's a Google OS. I think I told you about it earlier, but
yeah,
I'll let you know how it goes. Um, but yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the financial goals I'm setting.
yeah,
So I also am quite the saver. I have a good base saved up for a house, so I'm excited about that. I'm gonna keep working on that. And
that's good.
I'm working on saving up for a vacation to Hawaii, and I'm also taking I think I want to do a couple road trips across the United States. I think my first one's going to be across Florida from, because I'm on the West Coast in the Gulf of Florida right now, and I want to take a road trip over to the East Coast. And I just moved to Florida like a couple years ago. I haven't even gone surfing yet, so I want to learn how to surf. And then
Yeah,
by the time I go to Hawaii, I'll be a pro, right?
yeah. You can run to
So
the Hawaii family for me if they're in Hawaii as well.
I'm
They're
sorry,
like
what was that?
there's this family called the Anawais that are like Pacific Islander that are heavily involved in the wrestling industry.
Okay, if I run into any of them, I'll
I
let you
don't think
know.
you'll run to them. I think they're Samoan now that I think about it. Like American Samoan, not them. But yeah, it's just the examples about how we can follow through with what we can and just how we can attain those through the small steps. Like
Indeed.
I do run into foothills along the way. Like I'm seeing someone right now, and sometimes the money for dates gets in the way of saving for a house. But
Well,
you
well,
gotta
the
have
great
to
thing
work that
about
around. It's
when you're in a
optional.
regular relationship with someone, the great thing about that is you don't have to go on expensive dates all the time. It can be
Oh no.
it can very simple things like picnic in the park. I love that date. It's so simple. You can pack sandwiches and get a bottle of wine. It's the simplest, and
Uh,
I personally love it, especially if you find a nice secluded place. It can be a really fun date. I've done it when I was in college. I've taken people to picnic. We went to like a park bench in the middle of campus. I've had people set up like I invited them a date to the park and they did the whole thing. They made the picnic basket and laid out a blanket. And I show up and then they had candles and everything. So you can make it really special. So some date ideas for everyone out there.
yeah, it's more than just me here. These are all for the listeners here, and
All right, I
that's
think that's it for today, Greg. Unless you have any last ads you want to throw in there.
uh, I don't think I do. Just we'll have sources for these at the end of the podcast in the description wherever we put these out on, be it SoundCloud, Buzzsprout, and YouTube, as well as our upcoming platforms that we're trying to put out for TikTok as well. And if you're interested in supporting what we do here at the Health Awareness Podcast or M&G Productions, you can feel free to comment, like, and share what we have here, and comment and ask us about our Patreon. We can help. One of us can help deliver you the details on how you can support us on that front as well. And
All right. Well,
before
I
we
want
get
to
out,
thank everyone for joining us. Is there
yeah,
something else you want to add?
no, I just want to thank everyone also from me here in my home office abode here in Ohio. Just
Are you staying warm up there?
oh no, I'm trying.
It's
Like the heat,
78 in Florida right now. I might have to invite you to come visit.
it's like 40-ish now. Like it switched from snow to wet fog in a
Oh
matter
my
of
gosh.
4 days, but I'll strive. But anyway, thank you everyone for listening to the podcast today, and health is wealth.
Health is wealth.